Students, now I am going to teach you the second unit after first unit, which is structural organization in plants and animals. In the chapter 5, morphology of flowering plants, this year inflorescence and flower. This is the topic which I am going to teach now. So, what is inflorescence? So, generally, the mode of arrangement of flowers on stem is called inflorescence. Actually, the flower is a modified shoot where in the shoot apical meristem changes to flower. So, in that, these inflorescence are two types. They have given briefly in your NCERT textbook, but there are types also which I briefly say. So the inflorescence is two types which are racemose and cymose. The racemose inflorescence is generally the older flowers which grown, what they have shown in diagram. See the big flowers which are there, these are down and the younger buds are at up. This is called racemose inflorescence. The cymose is obviously opposite to that, which older flower is at top, like jasmine flower. If you observe the jasmine flower, it is on top. The buds are all on the down. So the types will be these racemose based on the type of arrangement. The simple racemose is the diagram which is showing here, the yellow flowers, that is Cisalpina, Crotalaria, all these will come under that. Okay, so these will be the racemose inflorescence will be the peduncle, which is the flower attached stem, that will be indefinite growth. There will be many flowers will come under that. So these racemose inflorescence is the development of flowers in acropetal order. So see the even the diagram here, they have given the cymose inflorescence. The young flower is showing on top. That is what the cymose. So the types in cymose also, the older flowers will be on top, but development of flowers will be in basipetal succession. So the types will be spike, and for this cymose, the simple cyme, monocotyl cyme, those. In board point of view, the flower is most important. For the flower description, I'm going to tell you now. Okay, so the flower description is the reproductive organ of flowering plant is a flower. So that is the reproductive part where flower is turning into after pollination, fertilization, all these, ovary, ovule, into that when stamen falls, then it will turn into fruit. Okay, it varies from plant to plant, stem like a tree to tree. So these flower structures, suppose if you see the structure of flower, here they have given many types. Generally, see the flower type, flower diagram. I'm going here. See the parts of a flower. I will go to the structure of flower. So the structure of flower, if you see the calyx, corolla, and you have learnt in earlier classes what is the structure of flower. What, like if you suppose see, stalk is the holding flower, thalamus is swollen part of upper portion of stalk, Petals are which are bright color, which attract insects. So petals are bright. Sepals are for only protection. Sepals are for protection, which protect the all the inner organs which are there. So another name of these are also there, common name and the scientific name. So all these are all, each flower normally has four whorls, which are calyx, that is nothing but uh, calyx is nothing but which are outer portion, and corolla which are petals, and calyx are sepals. So the stamens are male reproductive organ which contain male gametes which are like the pollen grains. Female is a center one which are like a female reproductive organ, female gametes which are ovum and egg. So the detailed names and the which are outermost oral calyx, which are green in color always most of the time, protect the bud when it is in budding condition. So these calyx, when those are sepals, all these are united, like in hibiscus, those are called gamosepalous. When sepals are free, those are called polysepalous. The name sepals are free means it won't get united. You can observe the hibiscus flower for that. So when you are writing the floral diagram or floral formula, these gamosepalous and polysepalous, by observing the flower you can mention the type of a sepal. So corolla is composed of petals. Petals are brightly colored for pollination. So these are called, if you see these, see, same the diagram you see here, parts of a flower. Here they have given all the stalk. This green color is calyx. Then this is called corolla and androecium. These are the anthers. This is the stamen. These many are there. Those are stamen. This is called the which is anther, that is called androecium. The center you see the thick portion which is there. This is the gynoecium. This part has ovary and ovule. When these petals are united, same like calyx only. If it is united, polypetalous. If they are free, where it is like hibiscus or these you see, these are called gamopetalous. See the calyx. When it is fully, this is called gamosepalous. But when it is clubbed, then it is united. Polypetalous, polysepalous. The shape and corolla of corolla vary greatly in plants. That is different. Corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped, different beautiful flowers you will see outside. So there are, see that they have given many examples for these. So briefly I will describe those. If you see the diagrams of these, even for the stamens, which are bilobed structure at the tip of the filament, each lobe which is here, if you see the lobes which are upper side, depend on that the flower arrangement, everything, that is like polystaminous stamens. If these are free, it is called polystaminous. Cumonia example. Gynandrous where carpels, this one, carpels united, that is calotropis example. Gynandrous, that is called. Even on those filaments, it will be all filaments of stamens if united in one bundle, which is in, if you see in chain arrows, those are called monadelphous. All filaments are in two bundles, then it is didelphous. If it is more, many of these stamens, then it are polyadelphous, citrus. So like that. Even for carpel, which is I am showing here, gynoecium, you see that one, the down part will be ovary, basal enclosed part of the carpel where I am keeping the arrow. There only the ovary encloses ovules in it, ovules attached to cushion-like structures, which is called placenta. So that on the arrangement of these placenta also, those are different types. So I will tell you now aestivation, which is the next part. See this aestivation part. If you see the mode of arrangement of sepals, how brightly they have shown, some are one by one, some are, see the corolla, some are like how you twist for the paper also, like that. So based on the arrangement of these, you see the diagram carefully. The first one they have given is valvate aestivation. So what is that valvate aestivation? If you see this diagram, the sepals, even the sepals and petals in a oral just touch with each other, just they are in touch with each other, nothing is front, nothing is back, all are in one line. How the, if you play, the students are in a single line like that, nothing is, that is called valvate aestivation. It won't overlap, touch each other at the margin without overlapping. In floral formula, after this lesson, I will tell you the floral formula. There you will write whether it is a valvate aestivation or twisted aestivation. So the twisted aestivation is, see this twisted aestivation, which is one by one. One is at, one tip is at inside, one tip is at outside. All are in the same order. If you see these also. So margin of a sepal or petal overlaps with that of next one and so on. Overlapping may be clockwise and anti-clockwise. Next one you see imbricate aestivation. For valvate, the example also, you observe the names they have given, which are different. So maybe for imbricator they have given cassia and gulmoha. See the imbricate. Imbricate aestivation they have given. See the diagram. This one is outside. One is outside, one is inside. All others are with one, like same like twisted aestivation. So how you will define this? Margins of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in a particular direction. It is in different direction. So the last one is the vexillary. See the vexillary. Seen in flowers with 5 petals, generally pea flower, and you will see the down, these are one order, the next one is another order, the top one is a single one. So the largest petal overlaps two smaller ones, which in turn overlap with the smallest one, the large one, which is the, this overlaps these. So this is the largest one, these two are one by one. So the, see they have given the types and examples for first one and second one. For valvate they have given calotropis, and for twisted they have given ladyfinger, China rose. Okay, then I will move on to the next one, which are the next page. I will just scroll. You see the types of andrecium. See the based on, because on this only the placentation, the name, why we are learning about this placentation is nothing but, you see here the placentation, the arrangement they have given about andrecium composed of stamens, many stamens. So each stamen, if you suppose see, they have given a sterile stamen which is not useful for the flower to become fruit or seed. The sterile stamen which is useless, that is called staminode. So depending on the arrangement, they have given monadelphous, didelphous, polydelphous. See the examples for monadelphous, which are on one bench, as I have explained already, in chain arrows. The two bundles which are in P, the three bundles in citrus. There may be in a variation in the length of the filament within the, because in salvia and mustard it is different. Same as that way, gynoecium also. They have given the gynoecium also syncarpus, apocarpus, which are syncarpus when carpels are fused, apocarpus when these are free. So apocarpus are present in lotus and rose. The syncarpus is in mustard and tomato. So the stigma is usually tip of the style, which is receptive surface to accept the pollen grain. When pollen grain comes and falls on that, the stigma accepts it. So each ovary bears here one or more ovules attached to a flattened cushion-like placenta. So based on that, the placentation we are going to discuss here. See the definition of that, the arrangement of ovules, how it is arranging. If you cross section the flower where it has, suppose if you observe the hibiscus, you can cut and see under microscope or normally also, that is called. Based on that, those are several types: marginal, axile and parietal. So see the examples of or types. See the first one, which is marginal. See for pea plant, how the arrangement is. At the margin center, you see here the seeds are present in the pot. It's a margin. So stay on the margin. When they are stay on the margin, these are called marginal placentation. So because the ovules arranged on ovules arranged on the margin, it is very easy questions when these came for 5 marks. If it is coming for 3 marks, then you can write types and brief normally. But with more, if they ask for 5 marks, you have to draw these and write. That is the purpose of explaining these. So for the next one, if you move on to next one, this is called axile placentation. The ovary is multi-chambered. There are particular chambers like our heart. Then ovules are here. So placenta is axial here. Example for bindi or okra. It is also called lemon, tomato. Ovules attached to the central axis. This is the central axis, and ovules attached to the central axis. Next one is like, if you see parietal placentations. Observe the diagram carefully. The parietal placentation, if you see here, see the how arrangement. For this is ulta, like opposite. So in parietal placentation, it is ovary is one chamber, ovules attached to inner wall of the ovary. Inner wall of the ovary contains is attached to the this arrangement, not in the central axis. It is, you can write outside, inner wall. Okay, example is papaya, mustard, melon, all these come under parietal placentation. Next one is the D type, what they have mentioned here is free central. The free central placentation, if you see, there are no chambers here. In free central, there are no chambers. You have to mention the first point is free central won't have any. See the examples, other examples they have given here. For free central, if you suppose see, the ovary is one chambered, completely one chambered, and placenta arises between swollen central axis. It is swollen, and at the central axis only ovules attached to central axis. So examples are dianthus and primrose. So the last one is, this is basal placentation. So the examples for all these, suppose for see, dianthus and primrose they have given. For basal placentation, that is sunflower and marigold. So what it is? For basal placentation, ovary is one chamber. Placenta at the base of the ovary. Single ovule is attached to the base of the ovary. Only single ovule. So this is about the placentation. So they have given the examples like this. And hope you understood the complete understanding of the flower arrangement. Go through this properly without getting confusion with proper examples. Thank you. Thank you so much.